It could be true of any community. If you scratch the surface of a town's history, you never know what you'll find. In Warner, New Hampshire, they found a history that had been pushed aside.
For me, it started when I was working as assistant town clerk, and I would come across these records, whether it was births, deaths, or marriages.
On those records, Rebecca Corser would find, written literally in the margins of history, residents who were Black and mulatto, residents who often went overlooked, even on the prominent war memorial in the center of town.
As time went on, those records were changed to make it seem, to downplay the fact that they were actually soldiers. And then they faced any of the prejudice you think of Black people facing.
Lynn and Rebecca, working with the Warner Historical Society, dug into old record books and uncovered several stories of Black war veterans, unmarked gravesites, and documented residents who came to Warner in the 1800s.
By 1820, there were 18 individuals living in Warner. At its peak, there were probably 25 in 1900.
Right after the Civil War, there was a migration of people coming up here and working, of Black men and women. So you got a lot more of people working as domestics coming up from, well, in Warner, they're coming from Virginia and North Carolina.
Turns out there were so many stories of African Americans in Warner. A couple of years ago, the Historical Society ran a bus tour. Highlights included Poverty Plains Road, once home to several Black families like Mary Moody and her children. The former Davisville Tavern, once a stop on the Underground Railroad. And that war memorial that features the names of 4 Black veterans: Ichabod Twilight, William Bradish, and the Haskells.
And then James Haskell and his cousin John both served in the Civil War. John for the 45th Infantry, but James served for the 54th Massachusetts Colored Infantry, who were depicted in the movie Glory.
For years, much of the focus has been on the Black Heritage Trail of New Hampshire in Portsmouth. But more and more stories of prominent Black figures are popping up in rural New Hampshire, too. From Milford to Hancock to Newport and Warner.
The story in Warner, I think, is just fascinating because you wouldn't think, that there would be that much Black history there where you could do a whole tour.
Jerry Ann Bogus is executive director of the Black Heritage Trail, a trail of stories that is now expanding as more old records are uncovered across the state. She says post-Revolutionary War, many Black people came to different parts of New Hampshire for a better life, but their skin color made it that much more challenging.
Buying land, farming, owning, trying to be good citizens, going to church, doing all the ordinary things. And yet they still have that thing of racism still on top of that.
There are stories of success and inclusion in the early days of New Hampshire. This old photo shows Black and white students together at a former schoolhouse in Warner. This basket was made by William Haskell, a respected businessman based right downtown.
He's an interesting man because his business was so successful, basket making, that he, for a few years, was listed in the state business directory.
Thanks to volunteers combing through records, Black history is being uncovered. And perhaps by telling these stories of the buried past, it will mean a better future.
But I think the notion of racism, of just blanketly looking at someone and deciding who you think they are, that would be diminished. There would be much more of an understanding of the humanness of all of us, once you integrate a fuller, truer story. And that's what we're working at, is to really look at the human side of this story.
So by uncovering these stories throughout all these communities in New Hampshire, it lets people know that, yes, they were here, living, working, having a community. And I think that's really more important today than ever.